70, 77.
Hey, Ray's got here.
I'm Banks. I'm Banks.
I'm Josh.
We
Whose
are.
turn is it?
Your turn. We are odd places going.
Going viral.
Yeah. What do we got?
So as promised,
Okay.
why do we have to register for something that's guaranteed in our Constitution? Constitutionally guaranteed right. Every citizen gets it without account to race or gender or creed or any of that kind of stuff. Why do we have to register for that? Why are we automatically registered to vote?
Okay. So this is a state issue. Every state gets to decide how you want to vote.
Can the federal government make a rule and then the states will have to abide by it? Doesn't the federal government trump the states on some things? Not everything.
It does. And just recently, the House of Representatives passed a bill which would allow these,
Right, which is being crunched in the Senate. It's not
which has lost in the Senate twice, I think, or one time. The point is, the states decide. So state government decides what happens to voting rights.
But the U.S. Constitution is not a state document. It's a federal document. So we have a federally guaranteed right to vote.
Mhm.
Everyone does. If you're a citizen.
Yep.
Why isn't it automatic registration for even just the say federal elections then?
Okay.
We'll confine it to federal. I'd even be happy with that. You want to keep your state fucking backwards like Florida and have Bozo, Cletus, Bob, and Billy Joe running the place? Okay. Federal elections.
Okay, so you're talking about Congress, you're talking about
Federal elections.
Senate, you're talking about presidential.
Yeah.
Because, okay, I'm going to argue this. Because that election is the same time that state house and governors and state senators and county commissioners and city council people vote too. So you're saying that we'd have different
A split
voting.
ballot. You have a federal ballot and a state ballot. It's not that complicated.
That's complicated. You know, we talked in the last episode about taxes and keeping it simple. That gets complicated. No, I am for a federal law that gives every state the basic. You know, you can't go below this level. And this is basically what the bill.
This is what the bill's supposed to be.
Yeah. And the states can then, you know, finagle whatever they want on top of that, but it's got to be basic. Hang on. I'm sure we can find ways to make it more difficult for people to vote or easier. I mean, that is the issue here. How do we make it easier or more difficult for people to vote? You know, a party wants less people voting, a party wants more people voting. And by the way, that's a misconception. The more people that vote doesn't mean that a certain party is going to win. The more people that vote, it means we have a more honest.
It actually does now. With our current parties, it actually does mean that, and that's not opinion. That's actually it's fact.
What?
There's one of the major parties.
Yeah.
I won't say which one. It rhymes with Republican. Is so far outside popularity. It's not going to. It can't survive in a democracy. A true open democracy, it can't survive because the views are so extreme. The platform is demagoguery. It's one person. The platform is a Trump. That's all it is. There's nothing else to the platform.
Okay.
Look at their platform. It hasn't changed in 3 years.
Okay.
On the website. It's whatever Trump says.
Okay. Got it.
So they can't win in a democracy. And I predict.
Wait a minute. They did gain seats
No, they lost.
in the last election. No.
Where?
The Republican Party gained in the House of Representatives. They gained seats in the last election. You're saying they can't. I'm saying that with gerrymandering, with voting rights, you can't. I mean, that can be done.
That's what's been going on.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
And that's what I mean.
State.
In a true, open, fair, free election.
Yeah.
Fully democratic. No.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the Republican Party is hanging on to power by gerrymandering and by
It's minority rule.
restricting. Okay.
Right now, we're currently under minority rule.
Yeah,
You do
but
realize
we
that.
have been under minority rule for many years, haven't we? Okay, explain what you mean by
Here's
minority.
what I mean by minority rule.
Okay.
The 49 or 48 Republican senators represent 40 million fewer Americans than the 50 Democrats, the 52 Democrat and independents. 40 million more, and they are controlling the Senate. Nothing can get passed.
Okay. Okay, I get
unless
you.
they agree.
I get your point.
That's minority rule.
In the Constitution, when the Constitution was created, there was a compromise, and that is every state, no matter how big it is, gets 2 senators, and every state, depending on population, gets so many representatives to population. Okay, and that's the compromise that we created. Now, I get it. I get it. So the Senate is more skewed towards.
But it was all predicated on one thing:
What's that?
free and fair elections.
And what you're saying is that
That's not what's happening.
we don't have free and fair elections now. You don't think so?
The gerrymandering is ridiculous. Have you seen some of the new districts since the 2020 census?
I have not seen it.
It's you couldn't even like make it up. It's so ridiculous.
Okay, I agree. So let's attack that problem. How do we come up with a solution with that problem?
Don't allow political gerrymandering.
So
we had the solution, and it got tanked by the Supreme Court a few years ago.
Which was what? It had a non-political
the DOJ
body.
had to review any redistricting to prevent discrimination.
Right.
And that got wiped by, I think Trump wiped that. I think they got rid of that.
Okay. So
Look, if we don't put this voting bill that's coming through, that gets rid of gerrymandering, that makes it universal right to vote, mail-in voting, automatic registration, all this kind of stuff, we're within 10 years, we're going to be a one-party state. And it's going to be a theocratic actually plutocracy, technically. We're going to be a theocratic plutocracy.
okay, all right.
That's a fancy word,
That's your assumption.
It just means a bunch of rich people are going to be running the place.
All right. So aren't they doing it now?
We already are very plutocratic, very, very oligarchic.
So those that have the money.
But we still have two parties. We still have this kind of dynamic where one party fights, and there's a give and take. When we're a one-party state, minority rule, 100%, it's over. The experiment is over.
Don't we have
And
that?
I'm going to Mexico.
Really?
See you later.
Not Costa
There's nothing to
Rica?
fight for.
Okay. Don't we have that though when one party, like now, controls the Senate, controls the House, controls the White House, Congress. We have that now, basically, one party rules.
One party's in the majority, but it's unfortunately still a minority rule. Here's the problem. Take abortion, for example. 70% plus of Americans want open access to abortion, but it's gone. It's basically effectively, Texas is the test case. It's going to go nationwide if this doesn't get challenged and overturned by the Supreme Court. So now you got 70% of the country that are going to be unhappy. This is no longer a government by the people, for the people, of the people. If once we lose that, it's gone. It's gone, baby.
Okay. Let's take the abortion situation.
Yeah. That was a minority judgment argument.
However, let's go down that slope, and the slope is that every state will decide whether or not they want abortion or not, and not because basically that's what the Supreme Court is saying. The Supreme Court is saying, you know what, every state gets to decide. So those states that are conservative will be against it more than likely. Those that are progressive will be for.
But we had a war about this.
We had a war?
Oh yeah. Oh, you think there's a difference between abortion and slavery? You think there's a difference between owning another person and then denying the right for another person to take care of themselves? You think there's a difference? Ah, I got you. No, we had a war about this, man.
Oh,
So
you're talking 1860.
because that was how it was. You decide if you want slavery, we don't. But then when the slaves started coming over to the free states, all of a sudden it became a problem because they were losing their free workforce. It was an economic issue.
Yeah, but that's what's happening now in Texas, where people are leaving, women are leaving Texas and going to Oklahoma. And Oklahoma is, people are getting abortion all the time, right and left.
Right. And then Texas is allowing what's called vigilantism, where you can go for a $10,000 reward, hunt them down, and bring them to justice. So now we have
only if that happens in the state.
So now we have this fake Christian vigilantism. But you drag them across state line, then shoot them. Or shoot the baby, take them in for the reward. And there you go. No, we got to have some standards as a nation. This state thing, these imaginary lines we draw, and we say, oh, in Texas it's this, and in Oklahoma it's that. It's not going to work for something as important and as big as abortion.
And then what you're doing is you're correlating slavery with abortion, because slavery, you control a human being, and with abortion you control a human being too.
Yeah, there's no difference. It's all about control. Don't ever think abortion is about the baby. Abortion laws, sorry. Abortion laws are never about abortion.
You think it's control of a woman?
100%. There's nothing else to it. Nothing.
Really?
It's got nothing to do with the baby, because if it was about the baby, the man can produce more babies than a woman can. A guy can sleep with 900 women and have 900 babies. A woman, in 9 months, a woman can only have one child.
I'm Banks.
It's really about that.
I'm Banks.
We're done? Oh my God. Come on. We're just getting started, man.
We're done.
All right. I'm Josh.
We are Odd Places Going. Boom. Just long enough to get it started.